there's my dirty engine right now. I don't know if you can see it. So
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there's the turbo and stuff.
I'm gonna put
It's
this into the
it's pretty
video.
dirty right now.
So
Yeah.
anyway, so just putting these together, it's pretty casual. And if you could just introduce yourself and maybe tell me where you're from and just a little bit that way.
Yeah, my name's Patrick Linn. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's about to snow tomorrow. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's getting pretty cold here right now.
I'm in Salt Lake, and I think that we're getting snow this week, I think is what I saw too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, winter's locking me down, so
Now
that's okay.
now you have a shop also, right? Or at least in your video it looked like you did or had one at one point.
Yeah, I started PRL Motorsports. We manufacture aftermarket performance parts for like Hondas, Nissan, Subarus, Porsches, and a couple other brands. But we mainly focus right now on the Honda brand just because it's it the newer Hondas came with turbocharged engines, and it's really allowed us to like boom with our accessories.
Yeah.
you know. But
It-
yeah, we used to work on cars. We used to have mechanics, and we had dyno and tune cars, but we kind of ramped up production so much that we kind of just work on our own shop cars now. So
That's cool. Is that what you originally drove too? Did you have like an affinity for Hondas, or I mean, other than I understand why they're a good product now to work on with the turbo setups and everything you can do, but is that kind of your background in them?
no, my I was always a Nissan guy. So like um, from drift cars like 240s before drifting was popular in the U.S. We used to drag race the 240s. So back in like early 2000s, we were building a lot of drag cars, and I was always a Nissan guy. So I
Yeah.
had that of my SR swap, and my first car was actually a Subaru from a hand-me-down, and my second car was a Honda, my third car was a Honda, my fifth car was a Honda. By the time I got to the Nissan, it's probably my 15th car. I've always been like a guy to buy, sell, fix, sell, try to upgrade to like what I want.
Hmm.
So throughout time, I've changed a lot of I've been through a lot of different cars. Just trying to get to what was the most fun. And then I got to rear-wheel drive Nissans, and I'm like, oh, this is so much fun. I can do donuts, burnouts everywhere, and it's kind of changed my philosophy on cars. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it was 240s were awesome back then. They were cheap. I think I had three or four of them, $1,000 a piece, no rust. Like just shells laying around, just because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do another hatchback or you know what was I going to do. What was I going to build next, just for
Yeah.
fun. But I went from that to further and further into racing, and it kind of led to PRL Motorsports 10 years later. So
That's awesome.
uh, yeah,
It seems like you
I
do go back
got a
and
lot in
forth.
racing. So
It seems like you do kind of go back and forth. Like the normal progression for cars, like outside of like the motorsports world, is people start with like Japanese car, old American car or something, and then they'll get a little nicer one and a nicer one. Then they'll start getting like, uh, BMW or whatever, and it's like they never look back. And I feel like all the motorsport guys that I know, like we all go back and forth all the time. Like I went from an M3 to like an FRS, and then I went back to an M3, and then another M3, and then another Corolla, and like I'd always go like back and forth because it's just like, what am I into right now? Not
yeah, I mean, I try to keep a lot of stuff that I really want to keep. So like I know what you're saying though. Like right now, I want to build another Honda, like an EK Honda, and I'm looking for a shell that's clean and rust free. But that's something I'll build. I'll keep around. But you know, I also want a 190 Mercedes. So it's just everything's. Just I also love new stuff right now. So it's everything's up in the air. Like for track day cars, I love new cars because new cars are just faster. You run better lap times with everything's just not as worn out. So like after 2 seasons of track days, I can sell it and move on to the next car. So,
How often are you on? Are you doing track stuff? Are you doing like track days? Do you run a series, or like what do you do?
so I used to race a lot, open wheel cars, and then like Formula Mazdas, Pro Mazdas, USF 2000 cars, and then I rented race cars with the team.
Hmm.
We had tractor trailers. We had 5 cars, and that's how PRL Motorsports started. We were renting cars and running like 25 weekends a year. And I know I had hired some of my friends, and they're like, "Hey, if we make some of these products, we can make more money." I said, "Okay, I'll buy this one machine while we're out racing. You make some stuff." And then that kind of like took over racing, right? And at that point too, I sold. I was kind of getting tired of running to all these kids because they're just obnoxious. A lot of them yelled at you and stuff, and I don't know. I was more about racing and having fun. And whenever we rented cars and I raced, it was a lot to handle. So I
Yeah.
just stopped renting. I sold all that stuff. I kept running cars. My friend got me a ride in a Grand Am series for a year, and I had fun with that. Unfortunately, he hurt himself, and you know, it was only like a quick little deal. So then I went on to a Global MX5 Cup Miatas, and then after that, I'll do some SECA races now here and there, and probably about 10 track days a year just with street cars.
Well, and that still's.
So
I mean, that's how you can tell that you used to run a series, you used to race, because now your leisurely amount of racing is more than most people's. Like, I actively go to the racetrack. You know
yeah,
what
I
they
miss
will tell
racing.
you. Yeah.
I but the difference between like racing and track days, or track days, I can buy these cars and keep them. Racing, you're spending all your money that you would buy on cars with on tires and setups and every body like repair damage and everything, new engines every couple weeks. And
Yeah.
so now that I don't do that much, I'll just rent a car for my friend a couple times a year to keep my license, and the rest of the time it's just track day and street cars. But to me, I'll probably end up racing again in five more years when business calms down, or I move on.
So at what point did you start getting into like the Porsches, and kind of what was it that got you into the Porsches, or is this your only Porsche?
um, so I love Hondas, and the problem is and Nissans, but I had a big GTR, built like a 2,000 horsepower GTR, and when you're around that stuff every single day at work, and you're around Hondas, like the best Hondas that every kid wants, you're around it every single day, you kind of get burned out. But a lot of people that work for us stop. They're burned out with cars, so they'll move on to something else. I
Yeah.
still love cars, so I just had to like say to myself, like 4 years ago, I bought my first Porsche, and I was just like, I really want a Porsche. All we ever work on is Hondas and Nissans and Subarus. We're not going to really work on Porsches. We do some private label stuff, but we're not going to work on them.
Yeah.
So this is like my outlet from my business, and I'm still able to like have fun with cars, right?
Mhm.
So I bought a 930 turbo. That was my first Porsche. Um, then I bought a 997 turbo, and I was kind of on this turbo kick for a while. So I guess I've had in the past 4 years probably 15 different Porsches.
Wow.
So I still have four right now. But I'm always like buying and selling, trying different ones, buying, selling, and trying to try to break even or make some money, and just trying different body styles out, and different generations. So I've been
Mhm.
all over the place. So you know, because everybody's like, "Oh, I really want a 930." Well, you get a 930, and you're like, "Man, this thing's a piece of crap." And you're like, "I really want a 993," and then you get it, and you're like, "It drives like a Toyota Camry." So like that's so you got to try couple different ones too. Like one 930 could be junk, the next 930 you get could be amazing.
Mhm.
993s, a regular base 993, it's a really boring car, and you got to try C4S, or you got to try a turbo, or you got to try something else. So I guess that's my thing with Porsches. So I don't just have one right now. I have a 964 RS, I imported from Japan, and I have a 930 turbo still, a different one than the
Mhm.
other one. Then I have a 996 that I've never had a 996. This is my first 996.
Is it a
I
turbo
don't want
also,
to.
or?
No, it's a C4. I don't want
Uh-huh.
another one, but I'm probably just gonna make it a rally car, like a safari car.
Okay, cool.
Um, and then I have this 964. So I've had a
And,
couple 993s, but
and so you were doing these, and then you decided you wanted to do a raw welt on one of them. And I'll tell you, it's funny because I think, and maybe I'm on the same wavelength, maybe I'm not, maybe you'll tell me I'm wrong, but I worked in the auto industry for a lot of time too.
yeah,
I had a shop, and then I worked for BMW. I worked for Porsche, and it was funny because like the new cars kept coming out, right? It was like, oh,
yeah,
the whatever's coming out, whatever's coming out, and they kept coming out, and I kind of fell out of love with like new cars. Like after a while, it's like, oh, M3s really aren't that special. There's a million of them. GT3 RSs, even when I was at Porsche, you'd still see a lot of GT3
yeah.
RSs, where before you didn't think they're that rare. And
There's a million of them.
and so I kind of got to this point like where same thing. I was like, well, what do you buy? Do you buy a GT3 RS? Do you buy who knows, a GTR and build it? Like, what do you get? And I think the raw welt for me is the same. It's like that's the answer because they're not around. They require some legwork. Like you can't just go buy one. Not anybody can just go. I mean, you can. There's one. I guess I saw one on Facebook
Yeah,
Marketplace today.
there's a
So
couple.
there's a couple for
Yeah, there's always
sale.
one for sale, but it's just
But
not the same. You know.
yeah, I mean, you're getting the whole experience, right? And so I'm like
Yeah,
you, where I buy and sell cars all the time. I've had, I'm 36, and I've had almost 50 cars already.
yeah. We're about. I probably had about a little more than that, but I went on some rampages. So you
Yeah.
know. Um,
It,
but
so
yeah, with Porsches, you'll find. Sorry to cut you off, but
no, you're fine.
You'll find like one guy who's selling like a 914. You like, and your friend will be like, oh, go look at it. You want it's like $1,000. You go look at it, and he has four other Porsches. So then
Yeah.
you end up cutting a deal with him, and you buy all four. So it kind of like I don't really need this like a 912. If that, like these cars that didn't even run. You just wanted one, so the deal's so good, and the guy's like old, and he wants to retire, and you're like, or he is retired, and he's just like, I just don't want this stuff, and you're like, I guess I'll buy this stuff and fix it. So that's what happens with Porsches. I don't know if you noticed that, but every guy that usually owns one air cooled Porsche usually has two other Porsches or one other Porsche.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I mean,
really
even the guy that I bought mine from, he was buying mine to make room for another one, or selling mine to make room for another one, or whatever, right?
yeah,
And Utah's
yeah. And you
kind of
don't really
a
have
weird.
that.
Yeah, Utah's kind of a weird state for Targas because we have great summers, but it gets really cold. Like right now, it's already like 20-degree days, right? So
Yeah,
you have like your
yeah.
season.
Targets are definitely cool. I just something I'd like to get, but I'm not sure which Targa. I'd probably go with with a 70, like a like a long hood 70, early 73, I guess, or
Yeah.
72 and a half, like the last Targa. That's just kind of car I really want, but stock. Uh,
Y- Yeah, I had a hard time deciding, to be honest. Like, do I want a 964 coupe? Do I want a Targa? And I don't know, like it's been a while now, and it's hard for me to pinpoint exactly why I thought Targa was what I wanted. But
well, fortunately, I bought this 964 when it was still cheap, relatively cheap.
yeah,
I mean, that 964 prices are outrageous right now. So
well that's how Targas are getting. It's crazy. And
yeah,
if you can
Targa's
find a 964 Targa, it's like 100 grand almost now. They're
yeah,
insane.
it's I think this car it was really cheap. I mean, and it was pretty straight. It didn't have any major damage, so it was a good base car to start with. Because I actually hadn't, I ordered the kit before I had the car.
Yeah,
If that makes sense. Because I knew I wanted another. I had a 964 C2 that was mint. I sold it, and then I bought the kit because I sold the mint one because I got really good money for it and I couldn't turn it down. And then I bought the kit, and I'm like, I gotta find another 964. So during that year, like the wait time, I found two, and I bought two, and then
yeah.
I kept one of the two, and then I sold the other one. So
What color was this one before?
I was white.
White.
Yeah. So I wanted to start with white or black. just to
Yeah, easiest color change, right?
easiest colors. Yeah, and I did full door jams, glass out, like trunk, engine bay, wheel wells, everything. So we, originally I was just going to do, jams and just stop there, but we went like all in. So,
How did you decide on Ruby Stone?
um, I just wanted to keep to like a true Porsche classic color. So
Yeah.
it was this. Golf blue was an option that I was thinking about, and then but then I bought a GT3, a 992 or 991.2, and Voodoo blue. So I
Mm.
felt that I had to go with a purple. I had to go with like something different to contrast that car.
Yeah.
Um, I had a red 930 and I had a black 930. So it's kind of like, if I'm putting the colors along, and I have a white 964. So when I'm putting colors along, I'm like, all right, I need a green car, I need a purple car, I need a yellow car. But if
Yeah.
that makes any sense. Yeah, it's just tough. Like I don't know. I guess before it was white, it looked good, and nothing was wrong with it. Honestly, it just, I just felt that was the car. That was a better car to do the engine, because the engine was kind of, needed to be refreshed anyway. So it just needed stuff done. So
How
outside of paint.
how did you decide on the wheels?
Um, so right now I have the works wheels on. I
Hmm.
did double check, but the rotiforms. Um, so I guess when I first wanted the RWB, right, I called up Moto, and I are friends. We do a lot of business together.
Uh-huh.
And I said, hey, where do I get one of these kits? Like, I really want one. I make the step, the risks, like, oh, you send this money out to nowhere, you don't hear anything, it just shows up. And I said, who do I talk to? And he connected me with Mark Arsenal.
Uh-huh.
And I was talking to Mark, and I'm like, let's order this kit, everything ordered. Then I'm like, I really need wheels. and I saw these rotiforms. I really liked them, and I was like, I was going to order them myself, and Mark got me a better deal. So that's where I started with the rotiforms. So these
Hmm.
works wheels I got from a guy who built an RWB in Philadelphia on a 964, and we were running out of time, and rotiform took over like basically a year plus to make the wheels. So they
Hmm.
kind of just stuck them on the back burner, I guess. And time was like really running out for when the guy was showing up. So I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, Mark, do you know anybody with wheels? Anybody? And he's like, there's a guy in Philly with works. I'm like, all right. I called him up. They were actually really relatively inexpensive for what I thought they would be. And I was like, all right, I gotta get these wheels. Philadelphia's close to us. It's 6 hours. And the last day Nikai was here, the rotiform showed up. So, it's kind of,
Did you just have them paint both sets of tires?
no, I did these ones with the stencil myself.
Hmm.
No, I was good. I'm not that good with the stencils apparently. And
Stencils are
he did the
hard. They
other ones.
bleed. Yeah, they bleed.
Yeah, it was the overspray. I'm not good with the spray can, so
Yeah,
you know.
I get
But
it.
yeah, that's how the wheels worked out. It was just kind of, I wanted a wheel. The works wheels were just because we weren't sure we were gonna have the rotiform wheels in time. So
I didn't order works on purpose just because everybody has them. But
yeah, they
now that
look so
I,
good though.
but yeah, now that I ordered my wheels, I'm like, oh man, I'll probably end up buying a set of those also. I think that's like I don't know. To me,
Yeah.
that's like the necessity. That's like I don't know, the
So
meat and potatoes.
I'm not like a show guy, so like these are more my style, right?
Oh yeah.
The rotiforms are definitely like a show car style wheel, and they
What
look
ones
great.
are they?
Oh,
Are
you're
they
asking me a cool.
are they the ones that kind of look like Fuchs, the rotiforms?
Oh, my rotiforms.
Yeah, those are
Um,
S1s, I think, on your car.
yeah,
Those are
my rotiforms. I forget the model, but they don't look like Fuchs. They're like a three. They're like a off. The insides are machined. The faces are machined, stepped
oh,
back, so it looks like there's a blade.
okay.
Like it's like a floating blade kind of
I'll have to have you
on the
send me a
wheel.
picture after, or
Yeah, it
I'll
looked
go.
really good. I'm just not ever since I was a kid, I was always about suspension, engine, and looks was last. So like I never cared. Like the wheels were, I'm like, I don't care about wheels. I just want good tires. So like I
Yeah,
never cared about wheels ever in my life. And now I have two sets, and everybody makes fun of me because I'm just not a guy to ever have two sets of wheels, so that aren't like race wheels. So kind of funny. I'll probably buy another set actually, of something else too next year. Kind
Yeah.
of getting into this wheel thing.
No, wheels are fun. I've had a lot of wheels before, and usually it's like I like to keep a set of wheels with snow tires, a set of wheels with all seasons, set of wheels with some race rubber on them, and then I can just, depending on what I'm, because I've no, like I've only had two dedicated race cars, and the rest of my cars have been like drive them to the track with the other set of wheels in the back, get to the
Yeah.
track, unload it, put the wheels on in the paddock, and then go. It's kind of been me in the past, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Having a dedicated race car is really nice though too.
that it is. But then you got a trailer. I mean, that's why that GT3 was so nice. I had 4,800 miles on it when I sold it, and 3,500 of them were track miles.
Yeah.
So I drove
Wow.
it to the track there, and drove it home from the track. And I sold that just because I was kind of bored with it, honestly. And the new one's getting announced. I didn't want to lose. I wanted to get the most I could out of it, so I sold it.
I'm just like you.
At the timing wise, financially.
As soon as you hear the new
Yeah,
one's coming, it's time to
it's
sell,
just
right? Hopefully you sell it before other people see the new one.
well, the thing with GT3s, right, is they don't hold money anymore. Like they make a million of them, so you
Yeah.
have to like get rid of them in time. And that car was amazing, but I mean, I fully used it. I mean, I didn't leave anything. I didn't leave anything for room, but I insured it, so I made sure just in case if I wrecked it, I was okay. So,
Yeah.
but
Totally.
I mean, it was great. The new one, I'm excited. I'm excited about the new one too. But
Yeah. Um so what was your build like? I mean, I'm gonna put some clips of your video in here and just kind
yeah,
of show people that, but
so like,
talk to me a little bit about like planning it and what it was like executing this build.
so really, it was kind of like I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing. Like as far as like time frame, because everything was very vague, and time frame wise, hey, Mark would be like, "Are you ready next week?" No. Are you ready in 2 months? I said, kind of, maybe. So I picked a date that I thought I'd be ready for everything, for him to come, because I wanted to like get before before the new year and everything. Um, so like
Hmm.
that date was my deadline then with my friend who in the body shop who did the body work. My other friend did the interior for me, at his shop, and we did as much as we could at our shop. So it was kind of like get the car from paint, get the car straight to the interior guy, bring it back, put the suspension on, get everything ready. And the engine, TurboCraft built the engine for me, just because we built a lot of motors, but never an air-cooled motor, and I didn't want my main guy Jay to be responsible for an air-cooled $40,000 motor. So I had TurboCraft build it for me, and
Yeah.
we ended up going with a 3.8 liter. We stroked it out, and Motec coil and plug, single turbo, you know, big intercoolers. So
Yeah, I'm thinking about sending mine to those guys, so I'm sure I'll have questions for you about those guys after, but I've only heard good things.
yeah, it takes they take a long time, but the car runs great. Honestly, the Motec is some. I was going to go with, like we have a drift car we just finished up that we're going to be campaigning next year for my business, and we're using Link ECU on that. So I talked to them about doing Link instead of Motec because Link sponsored our car, and I'm like, I just stick with Motec because it's for mine, and I know that, Motec's the best. But honestly, Link ECU runs great from what I've heard, and Haltech people running Haltech now. But
Yeah.
you know,
Now,
it's just definitely an amazing going from the Porsche computer to the Bosch, the Bosch system to the like standalone unit. So highly recommend that.
yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to that. So that'll be a whole new change for me. Um, yours is the first one in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It, it, so what was that like to have like was everybody there? Everybody kind of seen them by the time you built yours. What was the reaction from it, the locals? Like what was that like um
I'm
building
we
it?
kept it I kept it really quiet. I actually only told I don't know, maybe like 30 people that was going on, because I didn't
Yeah.
want, so we decided to do it at my shop, like during business hours, while we're still working. So we have 22 employees, and you know, a lot of CNC machines, a lot of fabricators, and sales guys. So I said, we made a big area, moved some shelves out, and we set up a nice area for the video to be shot while we could still work, because I thought it created a cool background. And we told about, like I said, about 30 people, probably about 50, 60 people showed up. We had that fence, we kind of like had a little line fenced off for people,
Hmm.
um, just because we were operating a business still. But the local kids, I mean, I don't, I haven't really, I haven't really shown anybody the car too much. I just, I put 500 miles on it in the last 3 weeks. And I just drive it a lot, and I just kind of keep to myself, I guess. I'm not really a car show guy, but maybe maybe next year I'll take it to a show or two. Um, but I think everybody's always very surprised when they see you in it. They're like, they got to double take what they did see.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I find that because no one has one here yet in Salt Lake, and
yeah,
I find when I even mention what it is, it's either like total dismay that you would do something like that to this car because it's pretty clean, and then the other side of it is just people don't have any idea what it even is. Like that's why there's not
yeah,
one here yet. Is no one knows what they are. Like I've met. I was at a Cars and Coffee. I didn't even drive my Porsche. I drove my Tacoma, and I went to a
yeah,
Cars and Coffee the other day, and this kid had an RWB sweater on. And I was like, oh man, I should go like say hi to this guy and like what's his story? Like, it's
yeah,
not like it's easy to go buy RWB stuff. They don't sell it like at your local store. You have to order it, and like,
yeah.
it
It's a
takes
pain.
some effort, right? It takes some
Yeah,
effort. And
yeah,
so this kid had it on, and I go and I'm like, hey, what's going on? I'm actually, like just curious about your sweatshirt and stuff. And we were talking, and he didn't have any idea what it was. I don't even know where he got the sweatshirt.
huh.
He was wearing one. He had no idea what it even was.
I mean, they're the first time I ever saw them, was at SEMA, and that's like in person. Obviously, that's the only time I've ever seen one. A couple, well,
Yeah.
quite a few now. I see them every. We go every year for business, and I'm always on this, like, the hunt for the RWBs. I'm like, where do they park? There's a couple outside, might be one inside. Then I got to go to the wheel section that I usually skip, just to see if I could find a couple more. you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I always go into that wheel section and try and find somebody to give me a deal on wheels. I always go in and just start see who's gonna hook me up on wheels this year. But
yeah,
um
I don't know. There's definitely yeah, I don't understand the people's like problem with cutting up these cars. I mean, they made a lot of them. It's not like they're that special. Like most of the cars, you're not. Some people might cut up really special cars, but who cares? Like at the end of the day, like, doesn't matter. Like a 997 GT3, the people are gonna start. I mean, honestly, if I was doing a 997 kit, which I talked about doing, I would do it on a 997 GT3 because they're not that rare, and you don't have to do anything to the motor because it's
and
already
they're
built.
affordable.
Like, they're affordable. Like, I just look at, like, like people that, like, if I had a turbo and I did to a 993 turbo, well, that cuts out so much money I'd be spending on the engine, a base engine. You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of makes sense to me. If you want, like, I obviously don't want a stock engine in my car. It's not me personally.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against, show cars, but I have to have power because it's just what I've always grown up, whether I was racing slot cars or remote control cars or real cars, power was like my thing. So,
What
you
about
know,
have you done idlers yet, or are you planning on it in the future?
I'd like to go probably in 2022, just because my kid will be old enough, like, not drive my wife. I don't want to leave her, and or he might be able to come. Like, I just don't want to, family situation. I just, I can't be gone that long and
Yeah.
expect everybody to be sane when I get back, or I want to be able to take people too. So
It's kind of a selfish trip to do by yourself, right?
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I
But
want to do it. I want to do it too, but I'm going to spend all that money building my car. It's funny because I've had a lot of people like, hey, when are you going to come to Tokyo? When are you going to come with us to Japan? When are you coming to the
Yeah.
RWB? And I'm like, yeah, all that money is going into my car right now. I'm not going to do anything until my car's done, and then I'll start spending money on other stuff. But I'm like,
It's
I don't know.
definitely, I know what you mean. Like it's just, it depends where you are in life. For me right now, it's family is more important than, it's more of a priority than that. But I would love to do that. Don't get me wrong. I just, I've always wanted to go to Japan. I've never been to Japan.
Oh,
I've always been a Japanese car guy. So it's just, I always hated American cars, even though I raced one for a while. But
yeah.
I've always been the guy that wants to beat every Mustang with my, turbo Civic, or beat any car I can with my turbo Nissan. And, you know,
I totally get that.
I've also noticed too, like the aftermarket community, like including my business, like our quality of parts is just so much nicer than anything I'd get for an American car. Like American cars, I feel like everything's just MIG welded or cast, and the Japanese stuff. We make downpipes, we TIG weld them, we machine end tanks, we machine map housings. Like the extra effort put into like the quality part for Japanese aftermarket communities so much greater than the American community. I mean, there are some great American aftermarket companies too, but you don't see them that often.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, totally. I was gonna say Hotchkiss, but Hotchkiss is Australian, isn't it?
I believe so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I felt like maybe they're American. I know that they had a GTO drift car for a while, and I was thinking that they had done a bunch of stuff
Yeah, I
for
think,
that, but it might have been an Australian car.
but even that, it's just like if you saw like our welds on our stuff compared to like 99% of the American car welds you'll see on American exhaust parts,
Yeah.
it's horrendous. But like we're not the only ones who make Japanese parts as high quality. Like our competitors do the same. So it's just very
Do you
it's just a
ever
different world.
do you ever go do like bespoke parts for your cars, like your 911? Do you say, hey, it would be really cool if I had, a version of this for my car? What would it take to build this on my car? And make
Um,
slight modifications and do like a one-off.
we're working on some special stuff right now for my RWB. But which I'll show people in a couple, like another month or so. So
Okay.
you'll see
Okay.
we're making a limited run. I think like 100 pieces, so it'll be pretty cool. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, the buildo and the Kai. I was actually, I called up, I texted Mark, called him because he was away, and I'm like, hey, what do I need to do? I'm like, do I need to have food for? Like, what? I don't even know anything. Like, do I need a hotel? Like, what's going on? So
Yeah.
I went into this like clearly blind, and I wasn't on the app with everybody. So like I couldn't
Uh-huh.
ask anybody questions. So I was just like, like at Crispy Media, we used him to film it because we used it for a big PR stunt for our company too. Because obviously, uh, we shot it at our business. We wanted to get as many people as we could to see our business and the RWB build. Um, Chris uh, was he kind of he gave me a rundown of what he's seen at the other builds he's filmed, and then Mark helped me out, and I'm just there's a little I guess I was afraid to offend him, you know.
Yeah.
So
I'm in the same boat, and I'll probably be asking you because it was like one thing to send the money, like same thing you thought, right? Like I'm just
yeah,
kind of wiring this money into nothingness. And then
yeah, and I forgot. I mean, honestly, like 6 months went by. I'm like, huh, I should probably email and see what's going on with that kit,
yeah.
because I didn't want to start painting the car until the kit came, just because I wanted to paint the car and the kit at the same time, to have it.
How
So I didn't.
how much time did you have with the kit before he came to build it?
It came in like it came May, and he built it in August. So
It's like 4 months, 3 months, depending on when it came.
4 months, yeah, about 4 months. We literally, it was dropped like I picked up from my friend's body shop the day, he showed up that morning. So like we got it like the day before, and I had the interior. My friend who does the interior did the interior that night that I picked it up. So like the day before we did all that. So
Wow.
that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I want to do an art car with mine, so I'm hoping I have enough time I can like paint it before.
yeah. Also, all the window molds, like we bought all new window molding. Half of it doesn't work. It's just these old cars are very like, getting stuff for these old cars isn't the easiest thing either. Like you have, pulling the glass, putting a new windshield seal in. I think they're one of the quarter glasses we used the old seal because then we had three new seals and none of them fit correctly.
Huh.
You know, I spent thousands of dollars on seals. So
Well, that I wonder if that's part of why my car costs so much to paint by the guy before me, because I've seen all
it's a,
the videos or pictures. He gave me all the pictures of the work they did, and it was like all the glass was out, all new seals. I mean, every single piece of rubber on my car looks brand new. If you
yeah,
go
and
look.
you have to glue them in. And then if you get some generic seals, like on my or like one of the fender seals to the hood is one side's generic, one side's an OEM, and I didn't know which one I gave him, but the generic one already like looks dry rotted, and it was new. So I'm gonna replace that with a. I'm gonna try and get an OEM one again and replace that one. So
Huh, that's
you
awesome.
know,
Um, yeah, I mean, your car just turned out, like I said, it's one of my favorites, and it's one where when you see it, you know whose car it is. There are, I will admit, even though I've done a lot of research and I've looked at a lot of these cars, there's still cars that when I look at them, I don't know whose they are, right? Like you see it
yeah,
and you're like, huh, that looks like, is that so and so's car, maybe repainted by a new owner, or what car is that? Like, or there's like eight of them that are the same color or whatever. And whenever I see yours, it's like, yeah, I know exactly whose car that is, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, this car drives so good. I just wish I did KW for your own sake. I did KW V3s,
Uh huh.
and I probably wouldn't do them again just because I put that hydraulic lift system in the front, and
Oh,
there's not much travel.
the top cap things, whatever they call those, air
Yeah,
caps or whatever.
I did the hydraulic system that goes underneath the bottom. I should have done the air, which I'll probably switch out my coilovers maybe this winter just to get more travel. They kind of I just need a little more travel in the front end. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't recommend what I have.
my car's got torsion bars. It's a Carrera. It's a G body. So
Yeah, I didn't know if you were
um,
converting it. You know.
so no, I bought the KW, but they're the Club Sport two ways. And
Okay.
just
Oh, you're
because,
fine then. Yeah.
well, just the reason I did those is only them, Elephant Racing, and I guess Aragosta do torsion bar conversion. So you can cut the torsion bar all the way out and
Yeah.
have just a true setup. But I didn't know that the Aragosta even made a kit for the 930. And so I thought it was just Elephant Racing or KW. And then
Yeah.
KW said they'd sponsor my car and give me like a crazy deal on them. So I just bought those.
Oh, well, they didn't sponsor me, so I can say whatever I want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see? No, I
But
mean, and I haven't even seen them. I paid for them weeks ago, and I think they told me I'd probably see them in January because they have to make them in. I don't
yeah.
think they make very many of them. Not that many people
I,
are putting G bodies on KWs.
yeah, I think you're correct. I mean, like I said, without the hydraulic lift puck in it, it'd be fine. But adding the
Yeah.
hydraulic lift puck kind of they don't really they don't make a kit with it already built in like they do for some other cars for the 964s. So it
No,
kind of
I.
took out 2 inches of travel.
Oh wow. Yeah, that makes sense. I had yeah, I had even considered doing like an airlift system, but those guys don't make anything for my car. So
No, that's what I was going to look into next is the air pucks on top of the struts instead of underneath the spring, the ones that go on top of the struts.
yeah, you know
Um,
Sohal, don't you? Pretty well.
yeah,
He knows
that's
all
what.
about those.
Yeah, that's what I was. I think I messaged him the other day about it because you hit potholes here in Pittsburgh, and it's just like, oh, you think the whole car's gonna break in half. So it's but when you're going 100 some miles an hour and you're hitting like a crack on the road, and you're like, shit, it drives like my 964 RS. I mean, that car's that car feels like a raw car, and then you get in this and it feels the same, which is great. But I just want a little softer suspension with the with the car.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and that's kind of how I feel with the Targa too. Is mine will get on the track, like absolutely, I'll take it to the track, but it's never going to be a dedicated race car. So I'm going to keep an interior in it.
yeah,
It's going to be what is that considered? Like a tuner car? It's going to be somewhere in
yeah.
between like a race car and like a show car, I guess.
Like I'll take this thing on the. I'll take it to the track probably, a couple times. But like for me, I wanted a highway monster, so I wanted a
Yeah,
ton of power. I want to be able to go back roads with it and have fun with it. Because honestly, as far as a track car, it's never going to beat the new technology of new cars. So
it's not going
I
to
don't
beat the
want to.
car under it, that's for sure.
I might beat that, you know, but it won't beat like a ST. I have a Hurricane STO ordered, and the new GT3 obviously it won't beat that. But so to me, it's more like those cars are too fast for the street. So this car's fast, probably too fast for the street too, but it's more fun on the street than those
Yeah,
cars.
yeah.
Even this car behind me, it's like it's fast. It's so fast and it's so loud. The RWB seems to be a lot more tame to me.
Sure. Well, I,
Yeah,
I I think that that's the thing too, right? Is slow the saying, right? Is slow car fast versus a fast car slow. The speed
yeah.
and the fun
Plus
is
the
in the
tech.
slow car, right?
Yeah, I mean 600 horsepower, and this 964 is even at the wheels is at 2,800 pound car. This car's 600 horsepower and 30 some hundred pounds, but it's just this
It
car can
hooks up
handle it.
better.
This car hooks up better. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I guess you don't have to be all in all the time on the 964. Like it has mid range fun, and when you
Hmm.
drive these newer supercars or exotic cars, I feel like there's no in between power. It's just on off. And these old Porsches, you can like even if they make 500-600 horsepower, you can use it. It's not like an unusable power.
Yeah, no,
So
that makes a lot of sense. And I think the other thing for me is even though they are race inspired, they're race cars, right? I mean, that's why you go to bigger fenders is for bigger wheels and bigger tires. But there's still
yeah,
art. Like there's still a piece of it to me that's like the beauty of the design, the
yeah. I'm not,
experience, and all
are you,
that too.
I didn't clear on mine, and I kind of wish I would have clear brought a couple sections, but I don't know if you're gonna do that or not. But there's a couple sections I wish I would have done just because I think another 2,000 miles I'm gonna have to repaint the rear fenders probably.
Yes. Some splash guard, paint protection on the splash guard.
Yeah, that's what I probably should have done. But I also said to myself, why do I always PPF cars? Whenever you pull it off, it'll pull the paint off. Like on a repainted car, it'll pull the paint off.
Oh
So
yeah.
I was like, what's better? Do I just repaint it in 5 years, or do I repaint it anyways? If the clear bra turns yellow or it's 10 years old, I'm gonna have to repaint it when I pull it off. So
Get it
body
fixed.
guys hate it. you know, like my
Yeah.
GTR, I wrecked it going, did a half-mile shootout, and I was going 206 miles an hour, and I hit the speed bump, and I broke the front bumper. Well, the front bumper had PPF on it. So I finished the event. I came home. I had my friend repaint the bumper for me, and he's like, I'm gonna have to charge you to pull this off. I'm like, come on, it just sucks to pull off PPF. But
Huh. Yeah.
and everybody you talk to, if the car has been repainted, it's generally gonna pull the paint. Uh, it's like a hit or miss. It's a lot more common to pull paint on a repainted car.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, just kind of to wrap up, maybe tell me any future plans for the car, and then maybe tell me just where people can go on and look for your parts and anything else that you want to
yeah,
plug. You're welcome to plug.
all right, yeah. This I'm pretty much wrapped up with my RWB. I'll probably change some suspension pieces, and I'm gonna build another one. I'm just trying to decide whether it's going to be a 930 turbo base car or a 993 C4S.
Hmm.
The 930 I probably do with a Royal kit, and the 993 I do a Heavenly kit, or wait for the next update on a 997. I'm kind of up in the air, but I really want to do it again. I had a great experience. It was fun. The car looks wild. Everybody loves to see it. So I feel like I had such a great time that I want that time again myself. You know,
Yeah.
it's different when you go visit other people's builds. It's more special when it's yours. So like I'd like to do it at least one more time, maybe two more times. You know, but my other than that, my business is PRL Motorsports. If you have a Honda, Subaru, Nissan, check us out.
Cool. I'll put links in here and everything. And then the last thing, I guess, just if you can give me one piece of advice, like if there's one thing you can think of going into your build, it's something that would help me out that I could glean from you. So as I go to build my car, I can say, oh yeah, I already know about this. This is what I need to do. Like, maybe it's I don't know. Like, is it the food I get? Is it the hotel? Is it putting up a rope to keep people out? Like, what would you give me for one piece of advice you think I might not have seen or you think would be helpful? Putting you on the spot. I told you I wouldn't put you on the
No, it's
spot.
fine. It goes really fast. I guess everybody. It's just like your wedding. You know, if you've been married before, your wedding night's like over, right? And it's the same concept. At least you get 2 days of it. Um, you know, but I guess get in. And I guess I probably I'd probably try to limit the people. Like I'm glad that I didn't tell many people. And I think next time if I do it, I'm not gonna tell anybody but 5 people, and I'll probably close the door. Um, I just I don't like having the people around. I felt like the people I invited, I felt like it was good for the community to see it done. The people that came out that saw it.
Yeah.
Next time though, I don't need to do that again. So I feel like, and you got to enjoy the time, and you know just try to keep things calm, and just have lots of bottled Coca-Cola. You know,
Mexican Coke. I've heard that that's the thing, huh? So I
yeah,
will.
have a lot of have a lot of that, and have Starbucks nearby. You know,
Cool. Well, hey, I really appreciate you doing this. It's been super, super helpful and fun to meet you. Like this is how I pass the time between now and my build because with COVID,
yeah. I
you
mean, you're
know,
gonna learn a lot, honestly. Like you said, you can ask me questions. I didn't really have many people to ask, so I mean, you're getting a big jump on it compared to myself.
yeah, I mean, I would imagine if I didn't have, social media and then some friends that had cars, I can't even imagine how scary it is, sending $30,000 to Japan when you don't even
Yeah,
know anybody, right? It's just like, I've seen them in the magazines. Here's my money, go.
yeah.
And you know,
And the bank. I mean, the bank called me up, and they wouldn't send a wire. They like we did all the paperwork, we had it sent. They wouldn't send it. And
huh?
they made me call Mark Arsenal. He had to talk on the phone at the same time. They're like, "Are you sure you trust this guy?" I'm like, "Just send it. Send it. If it's fake, if it's fraud, like they're like, you can't get your money back." I'm like, "Just send it. Like, should work." You know?
That's how I felt. I did mine through Joey in LA.
Yeah.
And like I wired my money to New York to pay for something in Japan, and it's like, okay, if I hadn't gotten the invitation to the app, maybe I'd be more worried, but it felt official because I got invited to the app afterwards. I
Well,
don't know.
it's the same story. Everybody, if you read about it, everybody's gone through. Everybody wires money, and they're like, wait 6 months to a year, and you get your kit. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally true. So